everyone. I'm your host, The Tegan, and this is Founders Get Funds. Welcome to Founders Get Funds, the show for founders working to fund their venture. I'm your host, The Tegan, and here with me today is founder of Dream Marketing Group, Jared Eummer. To start off, could you shout out your HBCU?
The one and only Florida A&M, Florida Agricultural Mechanical University, founded October 3rd, 1887.
Wow,
What?
I didn't ask for the history, but go ahead, shout out your HBCU.
Yeah, that's kind of like a rule of thumb. When you say FAMU, that's what you got to do. You got to let them know when it was founded.
Let them know.
Interviews and all.
And you also worked at Rock Nation.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
How was that experience for you?
It was cool. It was like my first industry job, fresh out of school. So definitely opened my eyes to all that, is out there, in this space. Work with some cool clients, learn from some of the best executives in the entertainment industry. So it was definitely a good experience, I'll say.
For sure. So is Jay-Z one of your role models?
For sure. I guess you could say that. Anybody that knows me knows how much, him and his journey means to me. He gives, little black boys from Brooklyn, hope, I'll say. If he can do it, we can do it,
Mm-hmm. For sure. And now you've moved to Cleveland.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And you're working for the Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, another
chapter. Exciting times for you.
Very exciting, very exciting. Working anywhere from 40 to 50 hours a week, probably more than that. As you know, Cavaliers, Cleveland Monsters, Cavs Legion, Canton Charge. It's a lot of work.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And not only are you working hard, growing brands like Rock Nation and the Cleveland Cavaliers, you've worked to grow your own brand, Dream Marketing Group.
Yeah.
And you're known for putting on major events with celebrities like the Baby, Meg The Stallion. Yeah. And you're even known for your infamous homecoming FamexFest.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so FamexFest, the inaugural FamexFest, and went down October 2019. I was working on it simultaneously while I was starting with the Cavaliers and, just becoming a part of Venture for America. So I'll say it was like one of the biggest projects that I've ever had to work on because I just had so much going on at the time. But it was a great success. In 6 weeks, we brought out over 5,000 people, and that's no play like situation. Anybody that's ever put on an event, of that magnitude, they'll tell you, it was crazy getting people to buy into the idea, getting the talent to buy into the idea, the Baby, Young Nudie, King Combs, Justin Combs. It took a lot of work, but we got it done.
Yeah, and you said we, exactly. So who makes the Dream Team?
Yeah, so Dream Marketing Group, also known as Dream Team, it's myself, Jared Eummer, Christian Street, my business partner, my other business partner, Caleb Ross. We have our prodigies that, are up and coming, Solomon Lamar, Stephen Brooks, Isaiah Butterfield. We all make up the Dream Team. As far as I say leadership goes, not like undermining anybody, but, they were the ones that pushed the button. I was in Cleveland, I was in Detroit, a lot of them were on hand doing a lot of work. I was tapping into my contacts, just reaching out to different people, making things happen. So, no one does anything by themselves.
Yeah, you better believe that.
Yeah.
So how did you guys start working together?
It started as an idea, myself and Christian Street. He was like my first initial business partner. I was the guy that was just, had all social capital. Everyone wanted to go where I was going, do what I was doing, drink what I was drinking. I say that humbly, but that's just how it was in undergrad, my first 2 years. And Christian Street was like the creative. I was the frat guy. He was the he's like in the modeling troupe, so he's a pretty dude and all that, so we lived in the same complex, and we'd both throw house parties the same night, and it'd probably be illegally anywhere from 100 to 200 people, and each of our apartments, hanging out the side, cops coming and shutting it down. Yeah, wilding, sophomore year, and it was kind of maybe we could make some money off this, and all the promoters locally, they heard what we was doing. They'd reach out to us individually and just be like, I could pay you X amount of dollars to bring those people to my clubs. And it was kind of it got to a certain point where we was making, a decent amount of money, to bring people to the club. But it was like, if I was making $200, $300, how much you think the people that were like paying us were making? Somebody broke that down to me, and that began like, my entrepreneurial spirit, because it's kind of like, you're not gonna take advantage of me kind of situation, and I've always like had that like grudge towards me. So that's kind of like how it started, and we would just do like, little happy hours, mixers, go to spots and just be like, hey, like I could bring like $5K to your bar if you just give me like my door, and everybody would run with it. I had definitely different like partnerships with like mentors that I like met, throughout my time. So definitely shout out to everybody that helped us along the way, but that's kind of like how it started.
So would you say the startup costs were pretty low here?
It definitely was, because it was like, it wasn't big risk. Of course, like, we had those refund checks. We had little side jobs. We were saving up a little cash. So, it wasn't like a big risk kind of like situation. It was just more so, low risk, high reward. We knew we had access to the students, so we ran a campaign like for students, by students, these situations, because a lot of times, I'm pretty sure you could attest to it in the AUC, it's kind of like these grown men throwing these college parties, and it's like, if it's not a fraternity, of course, but these grown men throwing these college parties, and we were just like tired of it. Like, y'all 40 years old, like y'all go start a family or something. Like, let us run the show,
Yeah, and now you're doing these major events like FamexFest. So what are the startup costs for something like that?
I say, I'll just give it to you guys. You put it like this, like, what we try to do is go after like emerging artists. So, Meg The Stallion, we got her when she wasn't like, signed to Rock Nation, going Moneybag. Like, we got her pretty low. And I'll just put it out there. I don't want to say no prices and get nobody in trouble, but we got her pretty low, and it was kind of a situation where she was emerging, and that's something that like I pride myself on, just being in the industry. I like spot out certain trends that artists do, and certain like people that they're talking about, like figure out when's the right time to grab her. So we actually got her in April of 2019. This was before her mixtape dropped. This was before. A lot of people knew who she was, but, just being on Twitter, it's just like, yo, everyone's retweeting this girl. Everybody's just like, want to be a hot girl. So it's like, we need to get her during the summer. Hot Girl Summer was like starting in like April and spring. So we got her July 12th, but we booked her like April. God bless her mom. So we booked her through her mom.
Oh, wow.
So her mom, I still got the email on my phone. So Mama Stallion hooked us up. We got her for a nice price. We should have a good time, and that was dope. That was while I was in the fellowship, while I was in training camp. So that, I'll just say low. It's pretty low, but I think production for a show like that is anywhere from like $5,000 to $6,000, because you're talking about bringing out like 1,000 to 1,500 people. You gotta have good lights. You gotta have good security. You gotta have, table situated. You gotta pay the bottle girls. It's pretty low cost. Or pretty high cost, I'll say, but definitely lower, than a lot. So you want me to get you FamexFest, those kind of costs?
Yeah, give us all the tea.
Put it like this: the baby had a nice summer, and as soon as we was done with Meg The Stallion, we tried to do Meg The Stallion and the baby for family homecoming. We tried to put them together for it, like run her back and bring him on. Meg The Stallion people didn't want to do it because we got her at such a low price. It was like, oh, you think you're gonna get the same price again? And I was kind of like, no, like let's put a bid out there. And she had different negotiations going on, and her manager at the time, I won't say his name. If you know, her manager didn't want to give us a date. It's like, oh, she might have BET Awards, she might have XYZ, so we didn't book her again, but we ended up booking the baby. I was in talks with his management anywhere from like 6 weeks, like, cause I was talking to them on like May, and I was like, hey, we got this show in August that we're working on, and he's like, come back to us in July, because they were just trying to figure out like how his schedule would be and what he would be doing, but they said they was open to it because they did have a specific team that was working on homecomings. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but he was at every homecoming.
Yeah, he was busy.
So yeah, so we booked him like probably like July 20 something. So you think like 10 weeks in advance. And we was sitting on having him booked because we were just trying to figure out, we didn't want to put him out too far in advance, and it would just like oversaturate our marketing. So we wanted to piece it together. Because the thing is, he had been in Tallahassee twice before already. So it was like, it was a risk in that sense, because somebody could be like, oh, I don't want to see him anymore. We already saw him, but we just felt like it's homecoming. So it's like a whole different audience. And we didn't want to put him by himself. We were still like, if I show you my phone, like, I probably deleted the the text thread with her manager, but I was hitting him up every 2-3 days, like, yo, what's up? One time he finally, you gotta be tenacious out here, because you gotta think, like, how many people was hitting up his phone at that time? Like, he showed me what was going on as far as like her schedule plan when I first met him and like hosted him in the hotel and everything. It was a crazy situation. Everybody knew she was gonna blow up, so it just is what it is. But go back to the baby. We had him, and we was the first HBCU to host him after he dropped his album, Kirk. So we actually got him at the perfect time, and that's just God. Like, who could have wrote a better like beginning to a festival than that? Like, the hottest artist in the game, man. The viral clip, that we had is just like amazing. And we had Young Nudie. He's emerging still. But he put on a good show. He has a lot of core fans there. Christian and Justin, it was just like the icing on the cake, so that was cool. But I'll just throw it out to you guys. The budget for that show was like $190K.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
How do I manage it? I can't tell you, man. Have good partners that we believe in each other. I'll say it's not all gravy in business like this, because you never know what's going to happen. Like, we had events at Super Bowl last weekend, it rained out, so we lost a few $1,000s. So it's like it's a dirty game.
Yeah.
You just gotta you gotta take your wins, you gotta take your losses. It is what it is. But we just trust in each other's vision, and we trust our market to support us, because a lot of the people that come out to our events, they've seen us become who we are today.
Yeah. With the budget like that, you really have to start allocating some of the cost. And I saw the footage from FamexFest. It looked lit. So did you guys hire videographers, photographers for that? So it seems like you have to kind of pub in the beginning before the event happens, then you had to create content to kind of pub after. So do you feel like there's a lot of money really going into that marketing?
There is, and I'll be completely transparent. We dropped the ball, because with that viral clip, we didn't if you go on YouTube right now and type in the baby fan or something like that, you're gonna see like a clip of our festival with like Genius logo on it, Complex logo on it. It's just like, we didn't put it on YouTube, but this clip is on YouTube with like 10 million views, and it's like,
wow,
we don't have no proof that like say it was us. Like, if you know, and of course when we come with that second one, we're gonna have like a proper rollout to say like, this was us, at the end of the day. But it sucked.
That video?
Yeah, exactly. So we dropped the ball, but it's definitely a lot of work, and I'm just glad it was successful this time around. I'll say.
Yeah. So you're dealing with these large budgets. Where did this money come from?
So, I was working for 2 years, so I had to save a little money.
Save
a little money.
You heard that.
Yeah, so what we like to do is, when we have a successful event, not like take all funds and just blow it. Like, you gotta put it in a specific account and be like, okay, we're gonna allocate this towards something else. That's what happened when we had Meg The Stallion. Meg The Stallion, I'm not gonna say how much we got her for, but just think it probably like anywhere from like 50 to 60K, so like, we didn't take all those funds and was just like, yo, we're gonna blow it. I'm gonna go to Detroit and go to a strip club with Tegan and Ashton. Like, nah, it was just like, we gonna chill. We got another project that we're working on, so that's kind of like how it goes. Like, one event funds another, and it didn't really necessarily happen with the baby like that, because FamexFest, because it was just like so much stuff that we had to like tie out. So we have like deposits. So you think like, if the baby is 60K, we gotta put up 35. So we put that out, split that, throw that in, and that's 35 that we allocated. Now we have time to make the other 25K in ticket sales. So it kind of like goes like that.
Okay, yeah. And you keep, throwing out all these big names. Mm-hmm. What does it take to get a celebrity to work with you?
Relationships.
And how do you build those?
I mean, you just got to be at the right place at the right time. It's not necessarily like something we like to say in NYC is like, being fake mixy. It's just like, if I have some value that I can bring to an artist, I'm going to get in contact with his team and be like, hey, I have this opportunity for you. You'll make XYZ. You'll have access to XYZ. Let's work. And not every artist in their team can understand the value of a HBCU homecoming. And if it is a HBCU, they might not know about FAMU sometimes. Unfortunately, they're like, oh, Howard. Is it Howard? That's where Diddy went to school. That's where Drake was at a few years ago. That's where Roddy was this year. The Baby was this year. So it's just telling that story and just being thorough with your outreach and being tenacious. Like I told you, it just took a lot of reaching out to get who I wanted to get. So yeah, that's what it is.
So what kind of skills or tools did you use to communicate that value? Were you sending emails or
sending
LinkedIn?
emails? I was sending IG DMs sometimes.
Yeah.
Creating those pitch decks. Emailing those out. Asking for an intro to somebody that I know personally. Just being resourceful. And I think that's something that anybody that wants to start anything needs to learn early, is that you'll have to be resourceful because you cannot do anything on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody knows somebody.
And so when you're asking for those intros, who is usually the decision maker?
It's ultimately on the artist to say if they want to or they don't want to, but you kind of like want to get in contact with somebody on their team. If it's not like their main manager, their like tour manager, someone that's like affiliated with the camp. So with the Baby, we probably could have went directly to his manager, but you got to think the kind of summer he was having, his manager had so much stuff going on. So we actually got in contact with it's a booking agency in a sense, but he works hand in hand with his management. So he was handling his HBCU tour run. And I did my research to make sure it was like official, because a lot of people they'll put a deposit down for somebody and get some fake contract. It's happened to a lot of people I know. But had to do some research, make sure this guy was legit. Have this guy send me a drop. A drop is like when an artist puts a video out. We'll send you a video and says they're going to be there.
Oh.
And we had to add that to marketing. So it's just certain bylines that we went by. But you just have to be resourceful.
And then when you are approaching the artist team, are their prices usually set, or is there room for negotiation?
Their prices are normally set. Sometimes you gotta negotiate. Sometimes you gotta put out a larger bid than you know what they're going for, because you want them to take you serious. It's just a dirty game. You just gotta pick your battles. It depends on the situation, because like with Meg in April, March, April, whenever it was, I knew how big she was going to be. I had a partner, I'm not going to say his name. I had a business partner that's like, what? What? I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but he kind of trying to dwindle her light a little bit. Like, oh, she's not going to do anything. She's just rapping about having sex. But it's just like, that's what women want to hear, That's what that's what empowers them, So
okay.
I mean, not like literally, but yeah, you just gotta be confident and be tenacious and get the job done.
You mentioned that you recently kind of lost money on that Super Bowl event.
Yeah.
Can you explain how you learn from mistakes like that?
It was the weather, so it was like, it's Mother Nature. It's not really much that we could do, and it wasn't I won't say it was a lot of money, and I won't say it was necessarily an event loss. It was just more so travel, so that's something I take into consideration. If I'm going somewhere, I'm paying for a flight, a rental, hotel. Sometimes I have to pay for a hotel, but it's it wasn't worth it to me. It's a lot going on. So when you take in consideration an event of that magnitude being the Super Bowl, you gotta have a huge attraction to get people away from, Shaq's party, Mark Cuban's party. Like, we had a core base of people that came out, but it wasn't to that magnitude, so that comes with time. That comes with, like, I'll say, just reputability. Like, it's not there yet. It takes time, so it's just something that you just got to learn. And my lesson was just more so, just don't jump out there. Like, we had talent on the event. We had Chad Ochocinco. He's from Miami, famous football player, hosting a day party. And it was a good time, but it's just like, you got to go harder if you're going to go hard. Put it that way.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a lot of those minute costs, like you mentioned, travel. Uh-huh. So since you've moved to Cleveland, how has managing the business been?
I've honestly took a step back.
So have you brought more people on?
Yeah, like I said, it's 5 business partners right now. So it's like, not to, I won't say I'm like giving the business up in any regard, because it's a brand that I started, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. So definitely something I love to do. But so like when I speak to a mentor of mine, Jared Nobles, you met him. Mm-hmm. He actually just left Cleveland. He got a job with the Chargers.
Oh,
but
wow.
So he talks about just taking a leap of faith and just working for an NBA team. You have different opportunities that you never had before. So something that you don't really want to blow, and I'm putting in my 10,000 hours. So I feel like the skill set that I'm like accumulating while I'm working with the Cavaliers, I take back to, any other like venture or something that I want to do next. It's like, I'm going to just be so many steps ahead, if I just put this time in. That makes sense?
Yes, for sure. For sure. So you're enjoying your time here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of doing any events here?
Honestly, not. That's just not the type of time I'm on here. I just don't know how can I put this? I don't know how the market will react to an event, yet. And I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm losing right now, because I'm just not in that state anymore. Like, when I was younger, it was like, I'm still risky in a sense, but it's just like being frugal and just understanding, I just have a lot to lose, more than money. It's like a reputation. Like, the brand I'm building in Cleveland is different than the brand I have in the Southeast. Yeah. That makes sense.
So how has building those relationships in Cleveland been for you?
It's been pretty successful. I've had some success in my job. It's been cool, and I definitely enjoy it. It's been fruitful. Let's put it that way. I'm learning a lot, and I'm just learning the way of the world and just how to do business in a different sense.
Yeah, a lot of great skills on building partnerships.
Yeah.
And you mentioned those are kind of the key to growing your business. Mm-hmm. So do you ever see, Dream Marketing Group scaling up? Would you ever fundraise?
Yeah. One day, hopefully. I'll say I'm not canceling it out. As far as like immediately, definitely rebooted FamexFest, but scaling, it's a lot more work that we have to do before we do that. So, one day, hopefully, but we'll see.
Okay. Do you guys have any events coming up?
FamexFest 2020. We going even bigger this year. We just secured the venue. Homecoming date was solidified. We're talking about doing a summer campaign in the Southeast at different cities, a road to fame, if you will, where we get like 2 to 3 artists, and we split them up throughout different cities, whether they be like Orlando, Miami, Tampa, Atlanta. That's something that we're working on right now. So it's a lot that we're cooking. It's just like making sure it makes sense and it aligns with, just the type of time I'm on right now, because I'm pretty dedicated to what I do 9 to 5 right now.
So going into the second year, do you feel like it's easier to kind of allocate the funds and kind of run the show?
It doesn't get easier. You just get better. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So we definitely learned a lot the first go around. We definitely profited. That's something I'm proud of, because it wasn't looking too good, but we're being a lot more strategic this year. Let's put it that way, and we're going to have it out a lot further in advance. We have festival models that we look after. The Broccoli Cities, the Rolling Louds, they weren't built in one day. And that's just something that we got to remind ourselves. Like, it's all going to be a process. We just got to keep learning. If it's something that we want to do and we want it to scale and last, we have to take it one step at a time.
So FamexFest is traveling.
We'll see.
Oh, coming soon.
We'll see.
Jared, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with the community. Want more? Subscribe to our YouTube channel to take a deeper look at this week's interview. For our blog, go to foundersgetfunds.com. For daily conversations on funding strategies and building wealth, join our Facebook group, Founders Get Funds. Get to know us more at Founders Get Funds on Instagram and follow us at Founders Get Fund with no S on Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe right after this episode to join us next week for more funding strategies from founders for founders. Again, I'm The Tegan, and thanks for listening.